내 소식을
Hey everybody, welcome back to Visual Novel Book Club. I'm your pal Slow Beef. With me, of course, my good friend Jim.
Hello, everyone.
My good friend Oren Ronan.
Good evening, even though it's morning here.
Good. You're throwing off my vibe. My friend Devious Vacuum.
Welcome back to my dark and twisted soul.
My good friend Turbo C.
Hello.
And I think this is it, folks. The final chapter.
We did it. We beat the game.
We won.
Sure did.
We're third place for best Fata Morgana players in the world.
Come see our speedrun at AGDQ.
It's pretty good.
I call this the pathos skip when you turn the text on auto scroll and then anyway. So what the hell happened here?
When we last left our hero, Michel was incorporeal and found himself in front of the white-haired girl, and the white-haired girl was holding a sword. She offers him a sword and says that she wants him to extinguish her soul because all of this is her fault.
And then he says, well, when you're right, you're right.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it ends. But the white-haired girl explains what she is, finally, after all this. And we can talk, well, let me say what it was, and then I want to hear whether you felt this was satisfying or not. So the white-haired girl is sort of a split personality, and sort of a separate person from Morgana. She is Morgana's ideal saint self. And that Morgana sort of like split away from her real self because she hated being a saint, actually. And but because the white hair girl is a part of Morgana, when Morgana died and then wished for what she wished to continue, the white haired girl also wanted to continue. And so she wished, when Morgana's wish was granted, her wish was granted also to live, and she was incarnated. And that's, and then at this point she says, so that's why if you kill me, then everything will be better. I'll go away and Morgana can be whole again. And, I said no the maximum amount of times that you can say no, because I was like, this can't be the answer to this question.
I think it's satisfying. I mean, I like it. She also didn't gain form until Michel died. Because that's when that part of Morgana that floated in the void as a soul saw Michel's sacrifice, and then that made her finally take form and something that looks like Michel, and she also called herself Michel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she's a breaking point for Morgana. At this point, this is finally the real fundamental change in what the character has been. And I don't know if it's super satisfying to have a split, but it's, it is a fundamental change. Yeah.
Yeah, it also makes sense from the point of view of the character of Morgana herself, who is, we now understand, is only her spiteful parts.
Yeah.
And none of her good parts.
Yeah. And I mean, that matches with how we saw her when she was about to die, talking to herself. One was a lot more spiteful of a person, and one was more the pure version that she saw in herself, so.
Yeah, and so the white-haired girl says that if she's killed, then Morgana's soul will be whole when she dies.
It's like the angel on your shoulder came to say, oh yeah, kill me now, I'm the good one.
I don't know, I feel like the act of killing her is just an odd metaphor for this, because I definitely took it more like now they're going to be merged back together into one person.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's what's going to happen, definitely.
Right,
Yeah.
and so the way for that to be accomplished is the white-haired girl being stabbed with a sword and dying is very strange. It seems more like they should just... I kind of expected them to, meet each other and merge together, rather than, destroying one of them.
Doesn't that, though, always happen in, anime stuff?
Yeah.
So you're kind of screwed there, right? I mean, it's if you want to live this turn.
The only thing that doesn't completely fit is she's supposed to be only all about self-sacrifice and not hating anyone, being good. That doesn't really fit with what she did in the first chapter, where she came to a dimension to kill Mel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess, well, the character actually commented about that, and it just, like, she got over that really quickly. Like, Mel didn't have to do a lot to convince her not to kill him, after all.
I was gonna say maybe that's really a help to Mel if you think about it. I mean, he had it rough, but
And also, in bringing up the idea of this being a trope, it not only 100% would be a trope if they just merged back together. There's a TV tropes page that is very popular about the split personality merge.
well, that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, it's like a little cliche if you do it that way. So just for the sake of
From
You know.
the white-haired girl's perspective, though, because she was like, I can't do it to myself, I need you to do it. She shouldn't have said, I need you to kill me. She should be like, oh, here's this magic merging sword that will...
She does it. It's going to
Murder
take a
me.
very long time until they're completely merged. It's not going to be instantaneous, like,
Yeah.
in an instant. So there's that.
no wait, and then and he's
Like, and like, which half would be the one that would need to be stabbed with a sword? It seems more like the Morgana half. I don't know how to resolve it, but like, it definitely like struck me as like, oh, we're gonna like destroy the white-haired girl, and she's supposed to be like all the good things about Morgana, but I don't think she is all the good things about Morgana. I think she's like the standards that Morgana held herself to.
Yeah.
She's Morgana's idolized vision of herself.
Yeah, I don't think they're saying she's the good part. She's the part that's also... You can't have just that part. And just the self-sacrifice and then not criticizing anything. And that's not a good character to be either.
And then the white-haired girl, I mean, I think because she does want to kill Mel in the beginning, it does link her more to Morgana, right? Like, it does sort of link to, like, this was Morgana. I guess I also wish that it had been a little bit more a little bit more of an implication that Morgana was willing this to happen, because I feel like there is, like one of the themes of this is that, like, Morgana wants to forgive these people and wants to move on, but doesn't know how, and, doesn't know how to move forward or what the right thing is to do. And the white-haired girl's actions kind of also reflect that, as to, like, you know, the white-haired girl is how she wishes that she could be, like, if everything had gone better.
I don't know about that. I mean, look at what happened to the white-haired girl in the second and third chapter, especially the third one with Jacopo.
Yeah, it didn't work out either.
Where we all couldn't understand why she doesn't do anything. She just lets it happen to her.
Yeah, her fundamental weaknesses are evident there, yeah.
So the white-haired girl's not good. Like, she doesn't have the correct perspective.
Oh, no.
And neither does Morgana.
She's not a fully formed person. She's just, and especially, like, being this idealized version of someone, what you think is your best self is rarely that, because you're not a human being. That's not a human being. It's just this thing that can't interact with other people, because those multi-aspected, parts of you is what makes you able to sort of engage with people. This white-haired girl really can't on a fundamental level. It's why communication is so bad. Because she really, she's not able to, like, understand every part of someone else, so you can't communicate with them.
So I guess I just, like, what is the true metaphor of the white-haired girl versus Morgana? Like, so if the white-haired girl's, like, Morgana's the part of her that's the person she tried to be, or the person she felt she was expected to be, that basically, like, screwed everything up for her, because she tried to be that person and it was unrealistic. And then the white-haired girl actually is that person, and it doesn't work out for her because she's not a full person.
Well, and also the evil, quote unquote, Morgana's wish and her wish to be alive merged, so it was just gonna be despair all around. I don't know. I don't think there's it feels almost a little bit like a plot point to explain why Morgana was as continuously angry as she was because she was missing this half. And like them merging back is like to explain why she was suddenly able to shift so easily, even though I don't think, I mean, I don't know.
I don't like that as much. Yeah, I feel like Morgana wanted to fix the situation, but she didn't know how. Like,
Yeah.
she knew that the situation she's in is bad, but, like, she's gone too far. Because the first thing she's worried about when this all comes back is whether she's, like, saying to Michelle, like, much later, like, they're not gonna forgive me, though.
Yeah, but I think she only started, like, wanting to get it over with now that she knows what actually happened after Michelle showed her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think before that she's all about, like, keeping on torturing them.
Yeah. I don't know. I wonder. I feel like I wonder if you would go back. I think there's another read of Morgana where, like, this is all that she, like, because there's also, I think, a part of her that feels like this is appropriate, like, because of what they did, like, this has to keep happening, because to not do this would be to, like, let them off the hook for what they did, and so she's, like, stuck.
Yeah. And she maintains that. She doesn't completely let it go. Like, she thinks that their punishment was just. Even while she's feeling there's an element of her guilt in that it's gone on for so long, but she also thinks that all three of these people needed to be punished for what they did, which, I mean, I think that's a pretty honest reading of what happened here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, Morgana even says later that she says, I don't think I'll ever be able to forgive them, but I think this has just gone on too long.
I still just find it weird that Morgana didn't know that who the white-haired girl was. Like, she didn't know anything about her. Or, there's just, like, something, there's, like, some pieces missing in this for me in terms of, like, the relationship as a metaphor for Morgana and her character story.
I think she really thought it was Michelle, the reincarnation of Michelle. It made sense.
And Morgana's sort of ideation of Michelle feeding into that image of the person that she created as her ideal self.
And Morgana looked up to Michelle, and so did Ghost Morgana. The white-haired girl also looked up to Michelle, which is why she looks the way she does. So, like, them being, like, connected like that also, it's just, I think that they're more connected than they know that they are.
Yeah, because, like, the split doesn't happen until after. So Morgana, obviously dies in the original timeline, ends up connected to the mansion, encounters Michelle, and that split doesn't happen until after the whole situation goes on with Michelle.
No, the split itself happened right when she died.
So the split happened, okay, and then she doesn't know Michelle when she splits. But wait, but the reincarnation of her
The white-haired girl saw Michelle.
is after she's encountered Michelle.
Yeah, she split, but by the time they split, that part of her is just like a floating soul or something that doesn't have a form. And after Michelle dies, and she saves Michelle's self-sacrifice, then she gets Michelle's form and reincarnates into the first 3 chapters. So
the white-haired girl, she says, please kill me, and also just please remember me. And so Michelle takes the sword and stabs her, and then she dematerializes, and now we're in the tower, and Morgana's there. Now Morgana's here for real.
It's new Morgana.
Yeah. It's new Morgana 2. She's here. She's reacting with disbelief to the situation. She obviously, she's very upset now that she knows the truth, especially that she was wrong about Jacopo.
Yeah, she's even like, you come here to make fun of me? I tortured the wrong person for centuries.
And Michelle's like, no, I'm not gonna, I'm just like, we just need to move forward. And he's like, you've cursed yourself along with everyone else. Gotta release them. And, Morgana also reacts to not knowing who the white-haired girl was, and she didn't realize the white-haired girl was herself. And, Michelle just hugs her. She's just freaking out, and he just hugs her. And when he pulls her hood back, and her face is healed.
Aw.
Not the arm, though.
No, not the arm.
Not the arm, yeah, well. Look, the haunted miracle juice only works so much.
That's in the lake.
It's like, remember when we didn't do that part of the storyline? You guys didn't go get the arm back, so nope.
Oh man, there was a choice. I guess we could have gone back.
Then Rintaro comes in. Like, wait, I got this.
Probably a lot easier to do in the realm of the dead than in real life with time. So Michelle's like, you have to release them, release the three lads, and Morgana's like, I want you to come with me, because she's afraid of what's gonna happen. She says they won't, they're gonna be mad, they're not gonna forgive me. And Michelle says, nothing that happens could possibly make things worse than they already are.
Which is kind of funny, because as I was playing this, I was kind of wondering, like, what inspired the creator to write this kind of story. And I sort of came to the idea that, like, that phrase that someone always has it worse than you? I feel like the developer was just like, I want to make a story about the worst person. The person that has everything go wrong with them.
Yeah.
Like, top tier of people that say, my sweet summer child. Oh, boy.
So
I hate that expression so much. I just want to throw that out there. Thank you so much.
So we go visit the three ghosts for the last time, and first we go see Mel in the garden, and he apologizes. Not only does he apologize to Morgana for his first life, but he also says, like, my second life was not your fault either. It was my fault. I could have been better. And Morgana she sees him off with she sees all of them off with the same thing, which is like, I'll see you. It was like, see you next time in the Wheel of Fate or whatever. Like,
see you later, alligator.
Later, alligator. Jinx.
Like sands through the hourglass, so spins the Wheel of Fate.
Yeah, just like that.
Smell you later.
Catch you on the flip side of fate.
And Morgana becomes Poochie.
Mel seems like he kind of got it. Like, he understood what his lesson was, and he was ready to go on to his next life and do better next time. And then he goes away. So that was easy.
Ending 9, Morgana is taken back to her home planet.
So they go to the cellar, which is where Yukimasa is, and Morgana's like, you go first, Michelle. You go first and be my meat shield in case he tries to kill me. And Michelle's like, fine, whatever. So he goes in. Of course, Yukimasa doesn't try to hurt them at all. He's there. He, again, like, isn't great at talking. But for Yukimasa, Morgana, like, she offers to erase him. She's like, you're a murderer, you're fucked up, you're only gonna be, be a burden and, like, cause pain in people's lives if you get back to life. So I could destroy you now, and, like, you would be gone. Is that what you want? And he's like, no.
Yeah, did we cover that if you die in the afterlife, you just sort of get erased?
I guess, yeah, this is when they, I guess, first start to kind of...
Well, the white-haired girl sort of mentioned it, which was why that, like, her requesting that you kill her was so weird, even though we knew it was sort of a re-merging. Anyways.
Yeah, because it made it sound like she was gone forever, not that, like, her particles would go back to Morgana.
Yeah. Yeah, because she exists in Morgana, which is weird when she's like, oh, remember me, and I'll be gone, and all that stuff. But, like, something of her is still there, right?
Yeah.
Whereas, like, it seems like when they discuss this with the other three, the guys, it's like,
yeah, if you killed Yukimasa, there would not be another...
Correct.
I think the whole reincarnation system of this universe doesn't really make much sense.
No.
People keep reincarnation looking exactly the same way and usually having the same name.
and physical violence matters too. Like, what, you could stab somebody in afterlife and they'll really, really die?
I think someone would have noticed that, like, the entire population of Earth is looking the same way, like, every generation or so.
Well, I think that's metaphorical.
Yeah, well.
It's like the Wonder Woman thing where like you go back and you find all these photos of somebody like, oh my god, they've been all throughout history. They've just the same person.
Yeah. I mean, also, like, look at Keanu Reeves, right? They have pictures of him existing, like, 200 years ago in
true.
paintings. So, I don't know.
Wait, what? What meme did I miss?
There's a couple celebrities that they have, like, memes about online where there's, like, old paintings of, like, noble people that look really similar to them.
That very much resemble, yeah. And Keanu Reeves is one of the best ones. He's got like a very symmetrical face. So like if you just get a painting that sort of, projects that, it looks just like him.
That's funny. I did not hear about that meme. No, I am very behind the times.
Okay, so I got curious in regards to this soul reincarnation thing, and the estimated amount of people on the Earth in the 11th century was about 300 million. So they had a lot of souls on backlog for when they got to the 20th century.
Mm-hmm. No, that's fair, yeah.
Or they just had to start doubling up. Alright, you get 3 bodies now.
You get new ones, but the old ones don't go away, right? That's the idea of it, where it's like many people's first time here, but also some people's second and third time.
I feel like there is some kind of rom-com or something, like Beetlejuice or something covered this. But, yeah, anyway.
It's a very long period of time.
Do you classify Beetlejuice as a rom-com?
Yeah.
No.
I don't know, actually. I guess not.
I say this as someone that only vaguely knows about Beetlejuice. So it's like if you said the story of Bloody Mary was a rom-com to me. All I know is about you say his name 3 times.
It's all rom-com to me.
Although I guess Candyman, kind of.
It's definitely not a rom-com, no. Because I heard this today, because...
No, I was going to say, that could be the title of this episode, is not a rom-com to me, even though it's not really applicable to Fata Morgana, sadly.
This came up on the Giant Bombcast today, so...
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, yeah, definitely not. Okay, yeah, all right, yeah.
You mean the one that we definitely recorded way before that?
Yes, I mean, by today, I mean a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, happy 4th of July, everyone.
Podcasts, by the way, that are not mine do not exist, in my opinion, so, yeah.
True. So, Yukimasa doesn't want to disappear. He wants to pass on and be reincarnated, even though he's a murderer.
I can't kill more if I'm dead.
Yeah, so...
It's like a bad gambler. Like, just let me try. My time's gotta come. I know it. I'll get it this time.
I mean, this is complicated, too, because I feel like if he had been like, you're right, destroy me, then that would imply that, like, mental illness extends to one's soul, which is, I mean, that's a lot. That's a bold claim.
Yeah.
Well, they do sort of still go that way, but the idea that it, is only punishable by extinction,
it's a tricky implication, basically, with Yukimasa,
Yeah. So, it was a difficult question to answer. You really have to have, like, a firm stance if you wanted to say, like, okay, well, this aspect in which he was limited by his physical body is no longer applicable to his spiritual body, but how much would it affect him? In this case, it's like 1-to-1.
Yeah, but his soul still doesn't produce enough serotonin, so...
Yeah, where, like, the fact that he only lived with this one type of physical body influenced, like, the way that his soul existed. It was limited somehow by his living experience while being alive. I don't know. That's how I personally would sidestep that implication. So, then they're walking to the third boy, Jack Offo, and Michelle's like, perhaps by forgiving them, you can come to forgive yourself. And Morgana's like, would you forgive your shitty family? And he says, only if they were willing to repent, which these lads have shown that they are. And that they didn't say like that they didn't deserve their punishment. They've all said that they deserved it. And then Morgana's like, hey, is Giselle with you? Because I can't sense her. And like, I don't know if like that's just me or what. And Michelle's like, I can't sense her either. But
I thought she was with
trust
you.
that I trust that she's still here and she's gonna come back. And Morgana's like, I hope so, because I like her. And
Not so much you.
so
What will
now
happen after 700 years?
everybody likes Giselle the best.
Well, she is. Yeah,
Yeah.
she kind of
She's the
owns.
Mm-hmm.
You had to pick one.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
if you had to.
How are the all the women characters in this game?
I don't know. I'm a big fan of Nelly. Said no one.
Yeah, if you remove Giselle and then say who's your favorite character, that's a tough one.
I liked. Oh shit.
Past Maria was interesting.
Yeah, Maria.
The prostitute, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not Pauline, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, definitely not Pauline. Jesus.
Pauline really only had that ham sandwiches line.
Pauline, reincarnated Pauline was way better than original Pauline. Original Pauline had a lot of problems.
I don't know. I liked original Pauline better because like she wasn't getting in the way. It was like, you know, yeah, I'm here to find Bestia, and you're like, I hope you do and don't die. And meanwhile, this Pauline's like, I'm not Pauline. I'm just wasting your time on your time pressure quest to save these jerks. You know, that was exactly what she said.
Exactly.
Also. Yeah.
Oh, right. By first Pauline, I mean nun Pauline. And second Pauline is reincarnated Pauline. It's
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
the reincarnated one is
Got it.
okay.
Yeah, reincarnated Pauline is better than original.
Non-Pauline is annoying. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
What was that, who was that, guy that, reincarnated Pauline talked to on the beach?
Javi,
Javi. Did he have a sprite? I can't remember.
he did.
Yeah, he did.
Yep.
That's so odd.
Yeah, he wasn't anybody. Javi wasn't anybody. He was just a guy.
Wait, is he the only one in the story? I think he might be the only one.
Like, the original Lord didn't have a sprite. Morgana's mom didn't have a sprite. But Javi has a sprite.
Wow.
Nobody else in Michelle's family has a sprite except for the three brothers. Heck, nobody else in the mansion has a sprite except for the three brothers. Then,
Yeah, we don't see a picture
Yeah.
of Michelle's mom ever. Wow.
Give me that Javi, prequel.
Yeah, where's Javi? How does Javi fit into all this?
Javi owns. Javi is the breakout star of Fata Morgana.
He was good. He was the only reasonable person in that whole chapter.
Can I also say, as I was trying to think of his name before I asked that question, all I kept coming up with was Jeff, so...
Yeah, that's it. If he was English, he would be Jeff.
God, it's like the most American response we could possibly have. Like, what's his name there? One of them weird fire ones. Okay, we're gonna call you Jeff from now on. You Jeff. Okay, good.
Finally, it's time for Jacopo. He doesn't want to just go, of course, because he still loves Morgana. And he's like, he doesn't know what to do because, like, he knows that he loves her, but, like, he knows that he also can't be forgiven for what he did. So he's just kind of hovering, like, not sure, like, waiting for her to say something one way or the other. And, he does ask her to smile for him, which is absolutely the worst. And she's like, I can't, it would be unfair for me to force myself to do this for you, and I can't smile right now. And he's like, okay. And,
He might be more psychotic than Yukimasa. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? First he tells her he loves her, and then he's like, give me a smile. You know, oh, come on, before you send me off into the afterlife, give me a smile. What's wrong with you? Get the hell out of here with that shit.
yeah, that's literally the worst thing possible, so.
Oh my god.
And then he's gone. The fool jingles miserably into the afterlife, and then, Morgana's like, Michelle, if you hadn't done what you did, I wouldn't have freed them. And then she smiles, and Michelle's he's like, I kind of wish that Jacopo could see that smile. I don't know. Michelle kind of wants them to get together.
Make America Jacopo again.
I get it. Michelle's new to all this, so he's also kind of like, oh, wouldn't it be nice, like, if they could finally make up, like, the way that me and Giselle made up after we had such a horrible start. But this is a bit more extreme. But, I mean, he did try to kill her, so maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah. He led to her torturing and killing, like horrific torturing and killing. No, you don't get to smile, dumbass.
Michelle did stab Giselle, though, and leave her to die out in the rain. And she forgave him.
I thought we decided he didn't actually stab her physically. It was a metaphor.
Was it? I kind of forget this, honestly.
Yeah.
I think he didn't actually stab her with the knife.
If he did stab her, it wasn't in the chest. It was not somewhere that would kill her.
Yeah, it wasn't a fatal blow if it happened, but yeah.
Why does she spend so long recovering?
Still not nearly as bad as Jaco.
No, but, like, it's still pretty rough. So I could see how Michelle would be like, you know, my girlfriend forgave me for this. So anyway, there's one last stop to make. We're getting ready to leave then with Morgana, and then Michelle's like, there's one last place to go. And we can also just leave, but we're not gonna leave. We're gonna go see the painting.
Did anyone try doing the second option?
I did leave, but we can cover that in a bit, because a lot of it is similar to another scene.
It's the same, just the game ends sooner.
Yeah.
When Michelle dies.
So the painting is Georges, and he says that he ended up there because he was looking for Michelle after he died at the end of his life. He was looking for his brother, and he found himself a painting and full of regret. And he talks a lot about what he should have done differently when he was alive, and
mentions he regrets painting that portrait.
And he was like, all I had to do was think about it for 2 seconds. I feel like a lot of people have brothers like this.
Yeah, it's like super the picture of like privilege, like in the way that we really talk about it. Like no, yeah, I get it. You don't understand this. You've never had to think about it. Like you've never had to even encounter the reality that someone else is experiencing, so you just don't. And, like, yeah, that's not a horrible thing to do, but it's also a shitty thing to, like, you know, put other people into bad situations because you don't take 2 seconds to think about what their life is.
I read some comments from the author about this game, and the author says that he thinks that Georges is the worst character in the game.
Really?
He isn't acting maliciously, but his actions are the worst because he just doesn't care enough, like, to do stuff.
He's more Mel than Mel. I feel like Mel's lesson, more extreme is Georges.
Because he has access to make so much of a change, and he's just like, nah.
Yeah, exactly.
Not even now. He doesn't even take the second to acknowledge that he has this stuff. He just doesn't choose to do anything.
I don't want to argue with the author, but Yukimasa still does it for me. I'm sorry.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah, well, I think the other point is that like not doing anything, even though you can, is worse than like doing stuff intentionally for whatever reason.
But even if like that's your point of view, the original Jacopo, like, come on, just unlock the door and let her out. Okay. Anyways.
Yeah, Jacopo also has the power and knows and chooses not to. So yeah, those two definitely rank worse.
Jeez.
So Georges knows what he did was wrong. He can very clearly articulate it, which he does to both Michelle and Morgana, who's also there. And he's like, I need to be punished. Like, you should just scribble all over the painting to punish me. And Michelle's like, what? That's dumb. And Morgana's like, yeah, scribble over the painting. It'll be great. And then they're both like, yeah, scribble on the painting.
I think 3 months probation would be more than enough. I mean, ooh.
And Michelle, like, doesn't want to, but they want him to do it, so he does, and he draws, 4 figures and a cat.
Stick figures. He's a very bad artist.
He can't actually draw on it. What is actually happening is he's, like, sort of tracing on it, and Georges is actually drawing on himself. So Georges is just taking an extremely active role in his own punishment. He's having fun with this.
And at first I thought, like, that's not a real punishment. And then I realized that it's just those stick figures from the back windows of people's cars. And I'm like, oh no, that is the worst thing to put on an actual painting.
So who do you guys think that he drew? Because I guess he drew, like, himself, his brothers, and the cat. But is the fourth person is Giselle, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's his perception of family, which is him and her, and then the other two brothers.
And the cat.
Yeah, and the cats.
and
of
George is
And their
like,
first son.
yeah, George is like, I see, this is a bunch of demons and like a demon animal or something, and he's like, no, that's not what it is.
I just can't draw.
And Morgana's like smiling at them, and Michelle's like, wow. And then they're walking. They take the painting off the wall and they're walking him out of the mansion with them. And Michelle laughs, and Morgana's like, "Oh my God, you just laughed!" And he's like, "What? Do I not laugh? Like, is that not a thing I do?" And both of them are like, "No, that's not a thing you do." And Morgana has this great line to Michelle where she says, "I am genuinely not sure how I feel about you, the most somberly uptight man I know, telling me to lighten up." It's the most somberly uptight man I know. It's such a good line.
Yeah.
And it's very descriptive, too.
It's great. I love how shocked Michelle is that, like, because he's had so much character growth, right? And he's like that type of guy who like how he feels now is also how he assumed he felt like in the past. So he's like shocked. He's like, "What? Why wouldn't I be okay with this?"
He's like, "What? I mean, of the group, I'm like the class clown character, right?"
Yeah.
Totally not George's, who has been cracking jokes this entire time.
Michelle's great. Michelle is my second favorite character other than Giselle.
Wait, you mean the two main characters are your two favorite characters?
Absolutely. Yeah, I know, they're great. I don't know. He reminds me of people I know in real life really bad, and I feel like that's kind of insulting. Like, I feel like if Giselle reminds you of someone you know, that's like a compliment, but if Michelle reminds you of someone you know, then it's like, oh, I don't want to tell him that, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. George's is fun. I am sad that we only get to interact with him for this brief period.
I'm sad that he's the worst character, apparently.
Yeah! What the hell?
Wow, holy crap.
The mood does change when he sort of gets into the scene, and like you're like, oh yeah, he's got a very like folksy way of speaking, and very he's sort of more relaxed, and it lightens the mood. But it's also like, dude, you are a pretty big douche to be lightening the mood for all of us right now.
Yeah, and even Morgana's like, "Hey, dude, like this is serious. Could you shut up?"
Speaking of his way of speaking, I sort of looked this up because we mentioned it a few times of like how the dialogue feels a bit more modern, and apparently that was an intentional choice of the creator when they were writing the dialogue. It was, it's meant to be more when they're writing the Japanese, at least, it's meant to be more modern, so that it doesn't affect the flow.
They talk about that also in the creator commentary book that I'm reading. And yeah, but I feel the translation is still like not always doing it the exact same way. But yeah, it's mostly the same kind of feeling.
Yeah, apparently the localization main translator tried to do a similar thing, but they wanted to add a little bit more historical accuracy to it.
So I didn't actually watch it in English for the last couple of chapters, but from what I've seen, which is like 3/4 of the game in English, it's a very, very good translation. I really like it. I probably like the first chapter the best, and then it kind of went down for me a little bit. It's still a very, very good translation. I just it's always difficult, like comparing directly, because I read it in Japanese and then immediately read it in English after that, and I noticed every single bit they changed or did something a little wrong. Or a little different. It's always difficult to be in this position. I wrote a little bit about it on Twitter, but so most of the stuff I don't like I think like the Japanese phrasing is putting an emphasis on a certain word or a certain phrase that makes me feel a certain way, and then English is a perfectly good translation but doesn't do the exact same thing, so I feel like it's the lesser one. Probably just because I read Japanese first. Maybe if I read it in different orders, then it would have the exact opposite effect. But yeah, but it's still one of the best translations I've ever seen of a visual novel.
Wow.
Nice. And it does jump around in tone as much. Because in English it jumps around a lot in tone, and I assume it does the same in Japanese, right?
Yeah, and George is definitely, like, he speaks the same Japanese, like a very modern, like, casual style.
Which is fun. I actually did not mind it as much when I was reading through this time as, like, when Giselle says that she likes beefy boys.
I hated the game face line, but other than that, I was fine with it.
Yeah, it makes it more relatable. A lot of the casual language,
and also it fits because this is a visual novel unstuck in time. It is all over the place. It jumps back and forth from different time periods. This is what it's supposed to be. So like this kind of like jarring transitions are like that's part of what the author's intent is, or at least seems to be. So I think a lot of it fits. It's just sometimes there are some notes that just seem like, okay, whatever. But like, overall, I think it's done very well.
And they've all been dead for hundreds of years. Like, who knows how their souls are truly, would truly communicate to each other. So I feel like there's an element of like the more like emotionally raw, more modern language that you can relate to more shows like that they are relating.
Most of them aren't actually talking in English or Japanese. They're speaking in French or...
Right, yeah.
Like if you think about what they're actually speaking.
Yeah.
By the way, they actually released a French translation of this game, like, very recently. I kind of wonder what that's like.
Yeah, have to ask French speakers listening to this to
Psychedelic Eyeball.
Yeah, literally just Ragni and Psychedelic Eyeball. Please let us know.
Go buy the game and play it all the way through and let us know.
Yeah, if you haven't already. It's a great game.
We have homework for you. The only podcast that will...
So we're here, we're at the end, they're about to go out the door of the mansion, leave it behind, and go out into, true death, right? Like, going into the light, see what happens. And because we went and talked to the painting, outside the door, instead of a beautiful white light, are the sounds from the day Michelle died, and there's blood and darkness, and there is a horrifying ghost knight walking toward them slowly and menacingly, and we get a really cool picture.
Final boss time.
Yes, it's the final boss, Didier, and George sees him and is like, "Oh, it's Didier. He also cursed himself, just like I did, and he's been walking around outside the mansion this whole time."
I love George's like casual mention of this too. He's like, "Oh, I forgot to mention this guy is still very murder crazy right now."
Yeah, and he's like, I have to, he's saying the same stuff he did the day Michelle died, like he's like, just like a murder monster.
So if you don't talk to the painting, then he kills you right now, and the game ends.
Oh,
really?
It's a mutual kill. It's he stabs Michelle, and then Michelle kills Didier, and he's like, "Oh, I freed you, Didier, even though we're both dying."
He like sort of shoos Morgana out the door.
Yeah, he gets Morgana out the door. It'd be like, tell Giselle I tried, but oops. And now I'm gonna kill my brother while he kills me, and we'll both pass on.
Wow, I thought it would just skip this whole scene and just go to him dying.
No, it goes into I mean, it's not a big thing, but a
lot of the dialogue is the same. And
to be fair, he's a total douche. Yeah.
Wow. So
how is Didier not the worst character? All right, go on. Sorry.
So George leaps in the way, as a painting, he leaps in the way of Didier's like killing blow against Michelle, and he gets destroyed instead.
I really just pictured him just sprouting legs to jump into the way.
I know, right? So George, like, he dies, I guess, or disintegrates, and is like, yeah, you know, call out to him, and
he's basically Clippy. He's like, I heard you were looking to kill somebody. How about me? Woo!
That's it for me, folks. Da-da-da! And Michel, like, yells at Didier really loud, and Didier still stabs him, but doesn't stab him to death. He stabs him in the side. And in doing that, he sort of comes to his senses and is like, I'm just doing this again. I'm killing you. I'm killing you again. Like, this is, you know, and he keeps talking about, like, his responsibility as a knight. And Michel keeps saying, there's no judgment here. There's no responsibility anymore. The knights aren't real anymore. We're all dead. It's over. The structures that we had when we were alive are gone. And
P.S. You crucified me.
Yeah, Michel's like, okay, also, he, like, comes to this understanding that Didier never removed his helmet that day and never spoke because he was crying. He was freaking out under his helmet, so he couldn't take his helmet off.
I know you got crucified, but I felt so bad.
So it was seems like it was a punishment for Didier that he had to do that. They probably, they would have killed him, probably. I mean, they don't go into this as much, but, like, this is what I would guess, right? Is that the Inquisition was like, either we're gonna kill your whole family, or you're gonna kill your brother.
I don't know, Divac. I feel like you're firmly in Camp Didier, and I'm not really sure why.
I just feel like the Inquisition would not be that forgiving, you know?
Fair.
Nobody expects the Inquisition to be forgiving.
Like, the fucking Knights Templar would not be like, oh, well, I get it, he's your brother.
Yo, is he cool? Oh, okay. We let him.
Oh, if he's cool. Yeah.
I can vouch.
I mean, Didier, I don't know. Like, I obviously that was a lot. And we don't get to know that much about what he experienced that day, right? Like, how much he was caught up in being a knight, where he, you know, versus how much he was sort of backed into a corner, if he was at all. We don't know.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know.
But Didier, you know, and Michel have a moment as they're both, like, fatally injured. And, Didier's like, I wish, yeah, or Michel's like, I always looked up to you. I always wanted to be like you. You know, not like George. No, neither of us liked that guy, but we always had, like, a thing. And Didier's like, we want to be brothers again in the next life. And they're like, yeah, we're gonna wish to be brothers again. And I cried at that part.
Aww.
This was the one time I cried.
Yeah. And I think the big thing here is that, like, it takes a second to sort of, you know, resonate that, like, you know, that Didier is trying it, like whatever the vengeful ghost that Michel encounters here isn't vengeful because, like, of hatred. It's vengeful because he's felt so much guilt that it just exists as this creature of guilt. You know, this thing, like, I have to do my duty, and, like, there's nothing left. And then, like, the actual person, like, comes out, and Michel's able to sort of rectify at the end magically. Even though they keep talking about how much the stomach wound is just splurting blood the whole time, Michel's like, no, but I'm okay. So we're cool, and I'll see Didier off here now.
Also, destroying someone in the afterlife, they keep talking, you know, they mention how you're destroyed forever, but I really don't think that's true. Because all these people, you know, are like, oh no, we'll see each other again. Like, they're gonna come back for sure, definitely. So, I don't know.
In the tilt-a-whirl of fate, we will eventually encounter each other.
So finally, after Didier and George are gone, Michel and Morgana open the door again together, and the title card appears and says, "May the world that awaits us be filled with light." And I was like, yeah, it's great. And the music is happy, and they're in the light, they're in the white space, the light that you go to when you die. And they hang out for a little while before they move on because Michel wants to wait up for Giselle to return. And so while they're waiting, Morgana's like, so Michel, like, do you think when you get reincarnated again that you want to be born into a body with a penis? And he says yes, so that this is allowed without being problematic. It seems like a fun, like, that's not how she asks it, but, like, that's what she's asking, and I feel
That's
like
100% what she asks, yes.
that's like, wow, okay, Morgana, that's your question.
You're going heavy right from the start, okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, at this point, what are they hiding? And then they're like, we're best friends, she's like, Michelle, would you be my friend in the next
but then she also asks, if you had a choice between that or meeting Giselle, what would you choose, right?
Penis or Giselle, huh? Which one?
Yeah.
What
and
is
he
this, truth
he's
or
like,
dare? Like-
Yeah, he's like, I don't even need to answer that.
And he's like, why are you even asking? Yeah.
Okay, you get $1 million, but
Morgana's just beat a little shit.
Yeah, but he's telling that Morgana doesn't think it's obvious.
Yeah, and Morgana asks Michelle to be her friend in the next life. Oh, and she's even like, not best friend, like, I just want to be your friend. And Michelle's like, yeah, sure, we're gonna be friends. And she's like, I'll probably be a very difficult person to be friends with. And he's like, it's okay, I can handle it.
Big mood. Yeah. I know that, yo.
He says on the podcast with his friend.
Mm-hmm.
So Michelle, so Morgana moves on. She passes on. She disappears into the light. And that's Morgana.
And she tells Michelle wants to wait for Giselle, but Morgana tells him that if he waits too long, then he will disappear too.
Yeah, and he does.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
Well, it just requires a shit ton of clicking before he disappears.
Yeah. And he basically, I wish this was a show or an anime or something like that, because the effect of the mansion dissolving piece by piece, like, I can see, like, so clearly in my mind, like, the visual effect that it would have been if it was like a Miyazaki style, like, anime.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I want it to be that so badly.
Like, you need the pacing, and there's no pacing when you are choosing to click.
I think the implication is that this takes a long time, like years.
Yeah, it takes a long time for the mansion to dissolve.
And that's like a parallel. Michelle is now waiting for Giselle for a long time, just like she waited for him before.
Yeah.
Yeah. And finally, so basically Michelle, like, loses his form, his visible form. He's invisible. And finally Giselle reappears, like, fully, and it's her, and she looks so beautiful, and she's like, oh, Michelle, where are you? And she's like, I can't sense you or see you, but I know that you're here, and I'm gonna pass on, and I know that she's like, I believe that he'll return and take my hand again. And then it seems like the credits are gonna roll, but it's not the credits. It's sort of the credits.
There's like 2 fake outs here, right?
Yeah.
So we get the first one where it's just like, here's when everyone died, just in case you weren't adding.
Yeah, it shows everyone's ages and both of their ages of death, which is funny.
Well.
And it just shows all the characters and when they died and how old they were. And then we come back.
Reincarnated Jacopo was the oldest. He got to
Oh
live
yeah,
to an old age.
yeah.
Even reincarnated Mel died in his 30s, I think, right?
Yeah, like 37 or something.
Yeah.
It was like young.
Yeah, didn't it say he got sick and died pretty early?
That was Nelly.
Oh.
Yeah, Nelly definitely died at like 18 or 16 or something. Like, she didn't make it much longer, yeah.
No, they said that Nelly got sick and Mel didn't even come back to the house to see her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we come back, and we're in school. This was very foreboding to me. Like, I was like, oh no, it's a regular visual novel now.
It was also a weird sequence. Like, they don't have names for anybody. There's just descriptions.
Oh yeah, it doesn't. So maybe they have different names this time.
Yep.
Oh, the curse is broken.
Yeah, so we're in school.
That's all it took.
We're in school. We're Mel. Here's Mel. Mel's here. He's in school. He's a French boy in 2017 or whatever.
His name is Flaxen-haired boy. Excuse you.
Yes, he's still got that flax. a word that no one has used in a very long time. And he is talking with his friends, and he looks out the window of his school to the street below, and he sees a girl who is Nellie. And he is like, oh, that's that girl from that other school, and he is clearly interested in her and wants to talk to her. And his friend is like, ooh, and he's like, look, I just want to talk to her. I just want to I just want to see what's up with her. And then we switch perspectives to Nellie, who is also talking to her friend, and who also notices Mel, and is like, who's that boy? And she says to her friend that she wants a prince. And so Mel and Nellie, I guess, get to fall in love now and not be related. So it's okay.
It still feels very weird, the scene.
They could still be related, just not.
They don't recognize each other.
Well, wait, we're going in the wrong direction here.
They could just be cousins this time.
Yeah, but no! Like, why can't... No,
Are you doing the don't kink shame them defense?
I'm just saying, I don't know if they escaped their fate in that regard, but... Because they do still have the same color hair, and that's why they notice each other.
Look, if they want to roleplay it in there, that's fine.
Just remember that episode of House where the people are like star-crossed lovers, and it's because they're actually half-siblings?
No!
I do remember that, and no, that's not a good thing.
Well, that's what I think of every time I see Mel and Melly.
It was still weird in there.
It's still very weird.
Because their whole thing was that they had the same, like, very unusual color eyes, and, like, that's what I get reminded of every time they talk about, like, oh, well, that girl has the same hair color as me. Like, it's not...
It's why you shouldn't be attracted to someone because they look a lot like you. That's a bad thing. Don't do that.
Bad.
No.
Yeah.
Genetics are saying no. They're waving their hands over here saying, please don't.
Are you listening, Mr. President? Oh.
We have the same 23andMe profile and everything.
Oh, my God.
I keep connecting to people just through 23andMe. I didn't know it was a dating site.
Oh, no. Anyway, it is implied that they're gonna go out for ice cream or something, and it'll be cute. And they're not related this time.
Yeah, sure it will. Yeah, it'll be real cute, all right. That's the word.
You bring up a good point. It doesn't actually say that they aren't related.
Just that they've never met.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Who can say? We don't get a chance to dwell on it too much because now we
Thankfully.
move on to Yukimasa. Who there's like this building, I don't remember what kind of building it is or even says. It just says that he's an engineer and he just got transferred to this building and his new boss is like praising him a lot and is like, oh, I'm so glad that like you transferred over here, like you're such a talented engineer and I feel like that's like a subtle jab that's what Yukimasa's profession is here in the modern times as a psychopath. No, yeah, he's got a tech startup,
Hey, he's the ultimate engineer. Certainly not written by a person who's dealt with a bunch of engineers.
Yeah, I know,
now
right?
criticizing them subtly.
But then, and he's like, no, like, I'm really not that great, and the business owner is like, oh, you Japanese, you're so humble. He was, such a perfectionist. They're all in France, by the way, and, I think at this point it's more obvious that they're in France, if it wasn't obvious before. And as Yukimasa is, like, getting praised by his boss, he, like, looks out the window and sees Pauline walk by the door, and he's like, oh. And then we switch to Pauline and Maria are, two tourists on vacation together in France, and Pauline wants to go to a museum, and Maria wants to go shopping, and they're, like, compromising on what they're gonna do for their last day on vacation. And they bump into Jacopo, and he yells about tourists, and they make him drop his newspaper where he was reading about the stock market. And he's still pretty insufferable, and his hat blows off, and someone catches it and returns it to him. And what do you know? That person is Giselle. And he's like, hey, do we, like, know each other? And she's like, yes, from a previous life. And he's like, whatever, lady. And she's like, I feel like you hope that it's going to be Morganna, but it's not. We don't see Morganna. We don't know what happened to her. And Giselle remembers everything.
Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely not. Giselle definitely isn't Morgana, but like, it just seemed I got confused with so many characters.
Yeah, I wasn't sure like if it was transitioning by following the person that was just introduced, or if it was like just cutting to a different scene. So I got confused a little bit of being like, okay, so there's two girls, and then there's this other one, and yeah. I was like, okay, there's too many guys. One of them has to be George's.
So I think Giselle says to Jacopo, like, I hope you meet her, like, or something like that, talking about Morgana, because I thought that she was Morgana for a second, and then I was like, oh no, she's talking about Morgana.
Yeah, they asked, Jacopo, I think he's asked if they like, know someone in common or something like that.
Oh,
and yeah. Giselle is like, yes, and maybe one day you'll meet her, or something like that.
Yeah. So Giselle then tells us that her whole life she's had these memories slowly regained over time about this mansion and this man that she loved. And she's never told anyone about it because it would seem crazy. But now that she, I think, is 21, like the same age, she comes to return to the site of the mansion to wait for him. And she, like, just knows that he's gonna be there. And then the fucking credits roll. To fake you out.
Yep.
Again.
Second credit roll. Fucking Marvel Cinematic Universe, motherfuckers.
And it's the real credits. So, that's funny. And then the real credits roll. And then at the end, the title card says, don't worry, you don't have to wait any longer, Giselle. And we get a beautiful CG. Michel appears, and Giselle rushes into his arms, and we have this beautiful shot of them embracing. Their hair is everywhere. This is an art style that loves hair, and it's very sweet. It's a great picture of that.
And Morgana's hidden in that hair somewhere. Don't worry, she's still relevant.
And we get the card, ending 8, Fata Morgana.
Yep. But we don't know if Morgana's question, like, oh, would you rather get with Michelle or Giselle or have a dick? Like, there's no resolution. There's no dick in the last scene.
No, there's no visual confirmation. We don't know if Michelle has a dick or not.
I'm just saying. I mean, she set it up, and then nobody put that one down.
We don't see the bulging erection.
God, we don't get the "and then they fucked" title card. So we do get a prayer for all of you sinners who need to go to church now. We get the Our Father, but instead of having that really, like, morose ending that it had in the opening cutscene, it ends with "bestow upon their souls thy blessing," which is still not the right words, but whatever, that's fine. And I get the impression that, like, because Morgana says that she's gonna pray for Michel and Giselle before she passes on, that, like, that was symbolically Morgana's prayer for them.
Yeah. I'd agree with that. Huh?
Also, get this. What if they do have a child, and that child is Morgana?
What? No. That's crazy. That's too much.
And 2 more kids, Georges and Didier.
That you got all Anne Rice up in this. No,
that would be what would happen in like a real, like, Bold and the Beautiful. Like,
they have a 5th child named Javi.
Yeah, they have 2 children, Morgana and Javi, and it all comes full circle.
I thought you said Howie, and I'm like, wait, what character was that? Like, what?
That's my OC. We'll see them in the prequel.
Yeah.
So Javi was so consumed that he split into 2 forms.
Oh my god. What that's the spin-off fanfic that I want is what is Javi and, like, the adventures of Javi in the next life.
I think it would work as, like, a sitcom.
He's just there in the background of all the other characters, like, having these momentous scenes, and then he's just there like, that's not so great. He's in the classroom with Mel, like, I don't know, man.
Does he get killed? I forgot.
Yeah, he gets killed by Yukimasa.
Yeah.
Anyway. that's the end of that chapter.
That's
So
the
did
game.
anyone else think it was kind of weird that apparently, like, Maria and Pauline were never, like, in the mansion despite being part of the reincarnation cycle? Oh, and I guess Nellie?
Well, I mean, Nellie is part of the reincarnation cycle. She's reincarnated.
Yeah, but I mean, like, we didn't see their spirits in the...
I guess they're never, like, they're not trapped in the mansion, but they are sort of trapped in the cycle. I mean, like, Maria finds that writing in her own handwriting to be freed from the cycle, right? In her chapter, in Jacobo's chapter, she, like, finds that writing that's like, curse them, but not me! And it's in her own handwriting.
So maybe they just don't have physical forms. Or they're just off in another corridor and we just never see them.
Or maybe,
Holograms.
Like, the forces of fate just, like, continue to bring them back with those same guys in their lives because of Morgana's wish.
Maria's probably just like, please, just any other guy.
Please, I hate this fucking guy. Yeah.
Apparently reincarnation works like gravity. Like, you just get sucked into these black holes.
That would suck, like the toxic people in your life that you just keep getting stuck with them. But that seems like a curse, so yeah.
Yeah.
Probably the extended curse, the extended cinematic universe.
So I guess before we get into final thoughts, did anyone see the ending of the extras after?
I read Oren's translation before we recorded.
That's from the book. That's not. Did anyone watch the backstage thing?
I started watching it, but then you said it was bad, and I stopped.
It isn't bad. It's just the translation misses some stuff.
I watched the extra scene for if you get all the endings.
Yeah, I watched it too. There's a very short scene.
Yeah. So we basically wake up in sort of the same way as when we start.
It's called the prologue. It's just like before the game starts.
Yeah. And it's Giselle sort of comes up and she basically reflects on how nice the story of Giselle and Michel is.
Giselle is the maid.
She is the maid right now. She believes herself to be Morgana, and she is actually talking to Morgana. She believes them to be one and the same person. And Morgana poses the question of, like, what would you do if you were Giselle? And I forget what her answer was.
I don't remember either. I played it like 2 weeks ago.
I think it was that, like, Giselle was critiquing, like, that the story Giselle was, so faithful and waiting all that time, but...
Yeah, Morgana seems to have told her, like, the fake chapter story.
Yeah. So, I think she said if she were Giselle, she would wait for Michelle because that's what love is, or something like that. It wasn't super consequential, especially because we know what actually happens. But it was a little nice, I guess, bookend of...
Yeah, and then they say that someone is approaching the mansion, and
yeah,
it's Michelle coming back to the beginning of the game. And then the backstage is still worth watching, even in English. It's still funny, and there's good stuff in it.
Okay. Still have some stuff that I want to look at then about the making of and stuff, but the stuff from the book that you posted, the thing that struck me as the best thing that I've learned from reading that is that Michelle's birthday is December 31st, which, like, of course it is.
Yeah, so about that book, I mean, I always do after finishing a game, just go and buy everything related to it that I can find. So I bought. After they released this game, they released a book that's basically part artbook, part creator commentary, very extensive creator commentary. And it has everything. It has, like, diagrams of the mansion in every time period, and family trees for all the characters, and a timeline that shows when, like, real life events took place.
Wow.
Relevant to the stuff in the game. And then there are write-ups on every character and on the entire story of the game. Like, many pages just about comments about what they also thought about when they were writing the game.
Wow.
So I'm reading that and I'm translating some of it. but it's a lot of text. It's the most I've ever seen written about like the creative process behind the Japanese game.
Wow.
You usually just don't see that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Are you going to make that translation available anywhere, or are you just going to keep it to yourself like a dragon hoarding treasure?
So I posted what I just like translated the two character write-ups on Michelle and Giselle, and I posted it to your Discord actually, to the VNBC channel.
Nice.
So if anyone wants to, they can.
That's right. I have a Discord where we discuss visual novel book club. How about that?
Wow.
You're welcome, Slow Beef.
Come interact with the fans.
We love interacting with fans. Post in the Discord, sure. Honestly, like, if you want to interact with us, that's like probably. I feel like we're more likely to look in there than anywhere else.
That is the best way. Yep.
And I might post a link on my Twitter when I get more and get it more polished, because it's currently in a really raw state.
What, Twitter? No, it's always like that.
Yeah, that's true. Other than the book, we should also probably mention the sequels to this game that are out there.
Oh, yeah. I don't really know anything about them, though, truthfully.
So, Requiem to Incense is the one that's available on PC, on Steam.
Okay.
And I'm playing it right now, actually. I'm like a couple of hours in.
Like, right now, like, as you're talking to us?
No, but I did just before we started recording.
Oh, okay, cool.
And that's couple of short stories. The main one, the longest one, the one that's like 10 hours long or so, is a really detailed version of Jacopo's story.
Oh, great! Just
So
what I wanted.
You actually get to learn everything that happened when he became the Lord and before that. And
Not his chapter, but his...
No,
okay.
his past with Morgana. And apparently people really like it. They say it's like the most complex character study in both games. But
wow.
I'm just a few hours into it. And it also has like a short story that takes place after the game ends in like the modern time, I think.
Interesting.
And it's just George's being a real shit.
Yeah. And some other stuff. And then there's the version that just came out on the PS4 and the Vita in English.
Oh.
And that has both actual games, like the main game and the one that I just talked about. And it also has another new chapter that's also like 10 hours long. That's all about like post-end game. So if you want to know what happens with Giselle and Michelle, and if Michelle is a penis, I guess, I think that's why you get to know.
Yo, you want the dick that's downloadable content.
I
That's
don't know
extra.
for sure. I haven't actually gotten to it yet. But I guess if they tell you anywhere, that's where you get told.
And yo, this ain't no microtransaction. Wink.
Oh, you guys are pissing off Jim Sterling like a motherfucker.
Yeah, but I'm looking at like the graphics because there's like much more anime graphics. And everyone is in it. Giselle, Michelle, Morgana, Mel, Nelly, all our favorite characters.
Gang's all here.
Aw. I miss them even though they're right here. Whatever.
A good game.
I thought so.
Yeah, it's a great game.
Yeah. Let's so what did we love? What didn't we love? What was wonderful about this?
I mean, overall, the story was fantastic. I mean, if there was only
Yeah.
one complaint I had, it would just be there weren't a lot of opportunities for interaction.
Yeah, there's not a lot of choices in this. The branches are pretty limited.
And that's like a tricky sort of criticism, because that's like one of those things too you have to like kind of get into, like, I wonder if that would have helped or hurt it even, you know?
It's great for us. It's great for this podcast.
Yeah. Oh,
Yes.
for sure, yeah. No, that A+ in my opinion.
Oh man, this is really like, I don't know how many other pieces of media I've interacted with that like so capture in such excruciating detail how difficult it is to be a good person.
Jeez, yeah.
I think that's like the interesting thing too. With like it added like a lot of hope, you know, to the, like, terribly hopeless situations, you know, like, I really like that it was kind of like, yeah, you can handle anything, even, like, these extreme kind of situation, you know what I mean, like, and talking's difficult and all that stuff. It's, like, a practical sort of, like, moral, I guess, for lack of a better term, or takeaway, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the characters were very complex and not, you know, they didn't just have, you know, they are good or they are bad, you know, they have a lot of bad things and some good sprinkled in there, and I think they're very realistic in that way, and not too many of the games that we played so far, I guess, deal with that level of humanity.
And it doesn't flinch from it. And like, even though that makes the game really long and a lot of the scenes, like, very painful to go through, like, it doesn't turn away from any of it. It's like, this is what it is to be alive. It sucks. and like, everything sucks and people are horrible, and, like, what do you do? Like, how do you move forward? And I think the ending was good in the way that, like, it's not like everything was repaired. It was just like everybody let go of their baggage and moved forward, and that is applicable to all different kinds of things in life.
Yeah, I didn't really mention it, but my favorite part of this game actually was Morgana at the end saying that, you know, she's not going to forgive them, but she'll let it go, which is just such a powerful statement and something that a lot of us don't learn, is that, like, you don't have to forgive someone, but you can let it go on and realize that they're not, you know, an extraordinary evil person, that you can let them be a good person to other people.
Yeah, or they are, like Yukimasa, and you have to let it go.
Yeah, you just sort of have to accept that and realize that there are limitations.
I mean, he was a good person to Pauline. Yeah. But
and I think a big part of that is, like, you don't have to like make them, it hurts you if you continuously have to hold a grudge against somebody, no matter what they did. Like, even if they did something horrific to you, like, you don't, like, holding on to that, like, forgiveness, like, giving them absolution would be nice in an ideal circumstances, but you don't have to give them that. You just don't have to make it part of you anymore. Like, letting go of that part is important.
And that's, like, something people say, you know, a lot, when you go through stuff, especially trauma and just really horrible things happen to you. But, like, this game really takes it to the extreme and is like, no, this is why. Like, if you are feeling this way, that you can't let go of something, like, here it is in excruciating detail, like, what people mean when they say that you have to move on, you have to move forward.
You will be literally haunted in a mansion.
Yeah.
Sorry. Literally, this will actually happen to you.
Albeit really cool mansion, but still unstuck from time.
Big honkers, but still,
Yeah.
okay, there's a downside.
You don't want this for 700 years. You don't want to be looking at that same old stained glass window. That gets boring.
All the same books.
While we're joking, also this gives a very nuanced portrayal of an intersex main character that, like, I did not expect in any way, shape, or form to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that, like, holy cow, that was a surprise.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this is, I think, probably the first piece of media where a character has been explicitly intersex. And I mean, I have nothing to compare it against, but I think it did a pretty nice job.
Yeah, and not even, like, the character happens to be it's like a part of the story and an important part of it.
Yep, and it never feels gratuitous. I mean, there are maybe little moments, but, like, overall, it doesn't feel gratuitous. It doesn't feel like they're doing it just to, like, for shock value or to, like, make a point. It's like no, this is who this character is, and yeah, that plays a big role in their life, but it doesn't define them just on the basis of you know, genitals.
Yeah.
Yeah, and him wanting to be who he is and being born the way he is at the time that he was born is part of his tragedy.
What I like to imagine also, like, Michelle and the guy from Sekiro, like, facing off against Yukimasa, and, like, Michelle will just talk through it, and that's like really awesome. I gotta say it. I don't know why I had to throw that in just now, but I did, okay? It's pretty great.
Michelle can probably be anybody's therapist now, right? Like,
oh yeah.
In his next life, he's probably like very compassionate, and like everybody is like, wow, Michelle, you can talk to him about anything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's like the cool like youth counselor that everybody's just like, oh, he's so good though.
And he has no idea.
Oh God, no, because he's very formal still. There's no way he's not still formal.
Yeah. Aww.
Yeah, I was really impressed how well this game handled not just this, but many like themes that you often don't see handled very well, especially in Japanese games. Things like sexual abuse and emotional abuse, and they handled them all really, really well. Like with an amazing amount of empathy and almost no creepy stuff. The worst thing I can talk about this game is that the artist likes to draw women with big boobs. But that's
which, I mean, what are you gonna do?
That's a plus. Come on now. No.
There are only so many artists for visual novels, and a lot of them like to draw women with big boobs.
Also, you gotta cash them checks, I mean...
You know what I'm imagining too? Do you remember that, it's that like Missing Missy, that like sort of infamous kind of like meme story about the designer and the woman wants to keep like having him draw her cat, like her missing cat for free. Do you know that one? Or
no, I'm looking it up now though.
It's very funny, and it's not gonna, whatever. I mean, the crux of it is basically she wants this designer to draw her missing cat for free, so he just screws with her and keeps drawing different stuff. So it's kind of like, I can imagine the writer that's like, can you just draw Giselle without giant breasts? And it's like, I'm sorry, I can't. Like, I don't know what you're talking about, really. Yeah. Oops. Yeah, exactly.
No, these are small breasts. That's how I see them.
Size is it's a matter of perspective, okay?
And let's talk it out.
These are the skinniest arms I could possibly draw. I don't know how else you want me to fix this.
Anyways, yeah, I really love the emotional complexity of the story. So join us next season when we play Funbag Fantasy.
I mean, what else could we possibly play after this? The best visual novel we played, other than Funbag Fantasy, which will be the new best visual novel that we've ever played.
I'm sorry,
that's a real one, right?
Yeah, that's the side boob one we were joking about in our chat.
Yeah, side boob story, and the art for it didn't even have any side boob.
No, it was all top boob and bottom boob, and we're like, those are distinctly not the sides.
Yeah, geez, get it together, Funbag Fantasy.
I mean, can we do that? No.
We're not doing Funbag Fantasy.
That's for Visual Novel Book Club April Fool's Day episode.
That'll be like a live one-off stream. Like, you gotta pay us to do that.
Weird, Divac couldn't make it tonight because she was sick, but we're gonna stream this anyway.
Hey, Polahoko, good to have you back for this season. Anyways, guess what we're playing?
Oh yeah,
visual novel. It'll be Visual Novel Book Club after hours.
Oh my god. That's when we're gonna get the real ad money.
That's when HelloFresh will want us.
Mm-hmm. So going out on the most positive note about this visual novel, especially about the side boob.
This game handles so much with empathy and everything. Anyway, tits. So let's talk. All right. Anyway, sorry. So
what a good game.
All right. Yep.
What a very good game.
It's a very good story.
I gotta think, like, if I'm gonna evaluate, this is probably one of the best written visual novels we've ever experienced.
Yeah.
For sure, yeah.
This is a really, really well-written game.
Yeah, I mean, yes. I was trying to think about it. I was having trouble judging it, because we had a handful that were just, like, intentionally silly. But...
yeah.
God, yeah, this was a roller coaster, yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely say this is like the best one we've done. I don't even know what would be a close second.
The Christine Love stuff, I think
Yeah, okay.
it's also
Analog,
very well written, but also like in terms of like scope, like this in terms of scope, like I don't know if anything else holds a candle to it.
Gauntlet Throne, Christine Love. No, I'm kidding.
Well, she's still making games, so who knows?
That's fair. That's fair.
Man, what a good game though. I feel like my life has been improved from having played this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not a lot of games you can say that about.
No. Nope. All right, well, I guess that's a season.
Yeah.
It is.
Thanks for riding it out with us, folks. And I hope that y'all all go and I don't know, after you've played this, play the DLC, check out some of the extended stuff, because we're all gonna do that.
Yes.
Yes. Good. Thank you.
Yes.
Do you wanna give the folks a Fata Morgana?
Good talk.
I'm gonna give them a little Fata Morgana.
I don't know what you mean by that.
Just a little, Fata Morgana.
Fucking Fata Morgana. I hope you enjoy my visual novel.
Thank you for playing my game.
Wait, hold on. You coming here looking for a Fata Morgana from me? The balls on you.
Why you gotta keep breaking my balls about the Fata Morgana?
This is Jacopo and Tommaso.
Anyways, I guess look out on the Twitter for what game we'll actually be playing next.
Or stop at our Discord. Not ours, Slowbeats, but
Slowbeats Discord.
Whatever.
He's there.
I don't mind sharing it. Whatever, it can be our Discord, unless we want to make a real Discord for us. I don't know. Whatever. Look,
good night, folks.
As long as it's not work,
it's good enough for now. You check it out.
All right. Good night. Good night. Good night.
Bye bye.
Good night.
Goodbye.
Bye.